Days after cops killed a suspect they say wanted to behead police officers, the federal government has reportedly issued a brand new warning about possible summer terror plots involving what the feds call simple and accessible weapons.
So is this a sign that homegrown terror is getting even worse? Joining us now to react is Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer, Senior Fellow with the London Center for Policy Research. Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. Good to be on.
And this is CBS News who is reporting this. But
Sure.
But even last summer, I mean, there was online chatter that was reported about, ISIS trying to inspire lone wolf style
Correct.
attacks, how to build bombs in your kitchen, things like that. But is this getting even worse?
It is. We've seen ISIS in action, so to speak. Look, we saw an armed terrorist show up at an event in Texas, clearly intending to kill as many people as he could. I believe this plot in Boston would have seen someone beheaded. Even if this individual couldn't get to Pam Geller, he would have gotten to somebody. And what's ironic about this is that the places most likely for an attack like this to happen, legitimate citizens are unarmed. New York, Boston, Washington. I walk out of the studio here with a gun, I get arrested. These are the places the police can't be everywhere. Clearly, there's a threat. And this is where I think we are totally insane by somehow believing that law enforcement can be everywhere it needs to be constantly. So clearly there's a threat. Clearly they're telling people that. We need to all take it very seriously.
Yes. So there are new reports this morning that the U.S. government tried but failed to turn the Taliban 5, those 5 high-level Taliban leaders traded for Bo Bergdahl, into intelligence assets. So I guess there are two questions. One, why did they fail? And two, why do we know about this? Is there any secret they're capable of keeping?
No. First, no. I think this is something that it's a very complicated issue. To actually do something like this, Tucker, it is very difficult. Let me say this about the effort. There's no doubt in my mind we had the best folks we could working on this. With that said, it's a tough nut to crack. And, you know, who's to say that maybe one of them didn't actually turn and this is just false information? Who knows?
Right.
With that said, the fact that it came out is not a good news story. But this is what I think is a big headline here, Tucker, is that the White House has downplayed the importance of these guys from day one. They've said, oh, it's no big deal. They're just going back. Clearly, the effort made to bring these guys in indicate these guys are hugely important. These guys are going back to be 4-star generals in the war against our forces in Afghanistan. So I think we have to understand that this is a very serious issue, that these guys were not low-level guys, that this is a serious breach. You should never have traded Bo Bergdahl, a deserter, for 5 4-star generals.
Yeah, downplaying their threat, yet upplaying Bo Bergdahl and bringing him home with a hero's welcome of sorts, with all the pomp and circumstance in the Rose Garden. We're hearing now that the hearing for Bo Bergdahl will be delayed until September for those desertion charges. Right. What do you make of that?
Well, I think the defense is scrambling here to find some thread to defend him. Everybody I've talked to a number of senior officers who were directly involved, both DOD and CIA. There's no doubt he deserted. And I think their defense is trying to come up with some string. I think the defense is trying to say that, and there's some articles out already about this indicating that he was trying to leave post to look for some military official, some general somewhere to report wrongdoing. I think he's going to try to throw his platoon mates under the bus to say that they were doing something wrong, and that was why he left.
I'm beginning to suspect that Susan Rice was wrong when she said he served with honor and distinction, but I'm withholding judgment.
I think you'd be a good intelligence officer, Tucker. I think that's a good assessment.
Thanks, Tony. It's great to see you this morning.
Hey, good to see you, too. Thank you for having me.